It's gonna be a good one.
It's gonna be a good one.
Definitely a different type of process.
Cut down or freeze up.
Being a coach's son.
Jackson, of course, they keep retooling. One stone to face, a hit by pitch. Oh my goodness. Hello everyone, welcome inside the Red Earth Production Studios for this edition of YBMcast, Legion Baseball Talk. Got a good show here for you today. We're being joined all the way from across the state, the big metropolis of Sedalia, Missouri. Head coach of the Sedalia Travelers and newest state commissioner, Connor Spunaugle. Connor, good to have you, buddy.
Yeah, thanks for having me. Really excited to be here on again.
Absolutely. We had a great conversation the last time you were on. We were just talking before we started here. Just finished up some football. And do you coach any other sport now besides football into baseball, or is it just kind of that time off?
It's a little bit of time off. The FBLA instructor, so that's the Future Business Leaders of America at my high school. So that competition season will kick off, and then we'll go right into baseball. So no rest for the wicked.
So, Future Business Leaders, what are the competitions there?
Oh, there's a ton of them. They do individual tests where kids just test on various business subjects, and there's group projects, presentation, and it's just trying to get kids prepared to be in the business world, give them kind of some real life applications.
I love that, dude. I dig that stuff. Because, we talk about, kids coming back into the community. You want them to pursue as much of their dream as whatever sport they're playing at. But this is real life competition, right?
Yeah. It's all real world skills. And I actually have a finance degree, not an education degree. So it's where I decided I was going to go get it, and just ended up teaching instead of working in the finance world. But
Oh, good for you, man. Well, you like that coaching stuff. Hey, I dig that, bud.
yeah.
Dig it. Well, I'll call you the next time I need some help with all these big. I'm no good at math, bro. I mess it up every time.
Yeah. Give me a call. I'm always a phone call away.
I sometimes even have to take my shoes off. You never know.
You got a calculator in your pocket at all times anymore, so no excuses on that.
Exactly. Well, hey, you been with Legion for a long time. I want to start off talking about your new role in the state commission. What made you decide to jump in there, buddy?
I feel like might have been out kicking my coverage a little bit on that one, but Tom had called me and asked me to if I had any interest in it, and I said I'd have to think about it. And he called me again a couple of days later, and it felt like a no-brainer. Have a lot of turnover on this side of the state with both of our commissioners hanging them up, and thought it'd be a good time.
I do. We've had a chance to kind of get to know each other a little bit over the last couple of years. I appreciate, and folks, you did a fantastic job. You got to go watch the championships of last year's, I call it 19U championship for Mo Legion Baseball. He was on the call with me, did a fantastic job. See, look at that, jack of all trades, man. Love it.
I love being there. I love being a part of it. But hopefully that's the last time I ever get to do it with you, and I'll be coaching from here on out. But glad to stay involved this year.
There you go. Exactly right. I want to coach in it, right?
Yeah, that's always the goal.
Absolutely. So let's talk about that. As a commissioner now, what are some of the things you're kind of setting your sights on that side of the state? It's been a little thin for a while. What are some of the things you think you can do to kind of help that growth on that side?
I just two major goals, and kind of leads into the second one. The first one is just finding a way to have a voice and advocate for our side of the state. With not as many teams, you can't expect to have as much coverage and activities on our side, because you're looking at 6, 7 clubs versus pretty much the rest of the state, really. So that's really the goal. One is just have a voice for our side, and then the second is just to gain more clubs. Pre-COVID, we were at 10, 11, 12, something like that. And then come to 5 at one point, and we're back to 8 or 9. So just to grow it and get the word out and of all the good things we're doing over here.
Absolutely. I think you've got some solid folks over there. I like what Matt Morgan did, that group's doing over there at Post 131 with the Mule Club. And Oak Grove, Lee Summit, those guys are right there. Eric Hall, and I'm trying to remember the other gentleman's name, and I can't. I'm sorry. But, how do you, what is that?
Lee Summit?
Yes. And, how do they keep those programs in that movement? Where's that growth thought process? And because really, it's not just club baseball like what we consider club baseball. I always say American Legion is club baseball as well, because it is. It's the oldest club baseball around. But what are the things that they can do, and how do you, what are the things the narratives you can shape? Are you getting into the high schools? Where do you got to go? Who are you talking to in that respect?
I think that's where you have to start. You have to start in the high schools, and you've got to start talking to those coaches and building those relationships. And that's where you'll see the most amount of growth, is getting high schools involved and getting their kids in the program and showing them all the good things we're doing. But another good way is to get with organizations that have 4 teams and getting them in the program at the junior legion and freshman level.
Do you see a path where you work with maybe at what is considered, an organization that's outside Legion that kind of melds the two things together?
For sure, I think that's a really good option. I'm kind of trying to work on that right now with an organization out of Kansas City called 643.
Oh, yeah.
We're trying to get them in, and they're planning to get in. There's some really over there with Mick Simpson running that, and it'd be great if we could get them in, because they run teams all the way down into the little leagues, 8, 10 years old. So getting those guys in would be huge for us, just to add another team, and hopefully it could spread like wildfire of all the benefits of playing Legion baseball.
Yeah, 643. We got their iron sharpens iron wristband we got when we was at a Game 7 tournament. They were out. Yeah, absolutely. Know that club. I'd love to see that, because I think that's a real we talked with Mark Lewis last week, and Mark Lewis with the Jackson Tribe, they are doing a similar thing. And I think that's, in some of these smaller areas, if you can create some of those relationships that way, I think it's a fantastic way to go about it.
Absolutely. Those clubs to get more games throughout the week, and you're not just playing on the weekends, and it's another way to get just more meaningful baseball, because every game you play in Legion means something at the end of the day.
Absolutely. You're going to have to, we got to shoot down to the Lake of the Ozarks. We'll be at the Missouri High School Coaches Association clinic. Tom's coming down. We're all going to go over. We got a booth. You're going to have to come over and say hi to the folks.
Yeah, I would love to. And that's a great place to start making connections. And I had planned to be there, so that'll be perfect. It's something that Coach Getzy had brought up in his podcast you guys did a couple weeks ago, was just the importance of getting back to schools and kind of where it's got to start. So it'd be a great way to make connections there.
Yeah, and you look at what they've done at Washington, that continued success, and they've been real consistent in what they do, and so I would, and that's something too, Connor. Right? If you've got coaches out there calling these guys, talking to them like a Kent, a Mark Lewis. What are you guys doing? What are you doing with your program? Eureka with Scott Blackwell. There's all kinds of resources. I like what Copeland's doing at Kirkwood because Kirkwood was down. Yeah, they weren't. They were kind of down, but he's kind of revitalized that. We did the show Baseball Talk earlier. Head coach at Webster Groves, Dave Wiggins. We're talking with him. We're talking about the MCC around here. But we started off, we're talking about Legion Ball because he was a Legion guy. And he played Legion Ball at Kirkwood Post 156. All these guys, and he's a club coach, high school coach with the recruits baseball. But see, and that's what I think is tough here is all these guys that are doing this played American Legion baseball. And I think there's got to be that space where we kind of bring those things back. And he saw it. He goes, I'm happy because that was one of his goals was to play American Legion baseball. That's what he said on the show. I thought it was fantastic. But coming back and reconnecting some of the community with some of those things. And I don't know if you saw it or not, but Copeland posted he was at the Mizzou Club Tigers that meeting deal. I didn't know Carrick Jackson was the head coach at Mizzou, a post 156 guy.
I think that's sorry, I was just going to say, I think you wouldn't be surprised how many guys that have made it in the baseball space have come from a Legion background and are very supportive of it. And, that's just making those connections and using the help.
Absolutely. Those are the things to me that are important. And I think there's so much to do and give back in Legion. And I think it's, something that we taken an opportunity to talk to these people. They had great experiences playing Legion baseball because it is a club. You had to start off as a freshman. You went to, the juniors and then you played the senior. I know today's day and age, and honestly, I think you have to kind of move with it because sometimes you say A, double A, triple A, and people look and go, you're only playing A ball. You're not, that's recreational baseball. You're like, no. But so, it's 15U, 17U, 19U, because you can play up to 19. You have the eligibility and stuff. And I think putting things in the vernacular that are being used, I don't think that's a bad thing. Do you?
No, sir. No, sir. And that's part of what you guys are doing at Red Earth for the program and getting the word out there and just kind of having a better understanding of what goes on. Because if you've never been around it or a part of it, those words could be like a downgrade. But it's really just an age group. We're just building from the freshman, JV, and varsity level. It's no different than a high school. You have a freshman team, JV team, and a varsity team. So.
Exactly. Heck, and if a freshman's good enough, he could play on the varsity squad.
Yeah, we've had. I've seen it. It happens pretty often in high school and even in Legion baseball. So,
absolutely. So we're gonna get to some expectations for that side of the state. When you're talking about, as you said, most of it comes over here. When you're talking to district chairman or you're starting to talk to the clubs and whatnot, what kind of expectations are you setting for those guys?
guess you're just trying to spread the word and the benefits of being a part of Legion baseball. For the guys already in, you're trying to communicate what we're trying to do and maybe some changes and trying to get their feedback because, we're small enough. I've talked to all those guys personally and, after every meeting, I send them a text message and just say, hey, how are we feeling about this? What can I do for you? And then for new people, you're just trying to get them in. And there are very few people that once start a program in Legion believing it. So, it's just getting people's foot in the door and having them try it out and getting them past the hurdles of the paperwork and the kind of scary part, if you will. But you'll find out it's no big deal. And the the 30 minutes, hour of paperwork that it takes to make it happen, it's well worth it.
Yeah. I got to ask you, what was your, the first time you were on in a commissioners meeting? I don't know what you were expecting. What was your overall thought process with that and going into that? And then what was your thinking after it was finished?
I was pretty nervous, honestly, because you look around the room and I'm about half as young or half as old, sorry, as everybody in there. And so they're asking me to answer some questions and how I feel, and I feel like I'm speaking out of turn because these guys have just done it for so long. Um, but no, it's great. I think it's good to have a voice for some of the people around my age that kind of understand the tech world a little better and how we can use it to benefit us. And the thing I'm most appreciative is just how inviting and how structured it is. And those meetings, got an hour. Everyone's given an hour every Sunday to get together on a Zoom call and get things lined out. So, but the connections being made, getting to talk to Coach Getsy and Coach Lewis at Jackson, those are both programs that are doing really well and have for a long time. So getting to pick their brains and kind of see their processes has just been huge for me to, steal some things and try to improve our own program and help others improve theirs as well.
Absolutely. You have to take advantage of opportunities. And I think that's always the thing, if coaches, people, you get better by asking questions and finding out how people have done things. And it's amazing if you talk to a Kent Getsy or a Mark Lewis or some of those guys, they're asking questions of other guys as well.
That's exactly right. They're all picking each other's brain and learning. And Jason Howard at Ellsbury, they
Yes.
have that's a phenomenal program in itself. And so, all those guys and Coach Blackwell, all of them, they've got it figured out. And to be able to kind of see how they're doing it and try to take some things, and again, just spreading the word of what they're doing. And it's beneficial for me and hopefully for the whole zone. I hope to do everybody proud. I know Jim Moran at Fike did it forever, and he's phenomenal. He's still doing it at a higher level than the state. He's doing it at the national level still. So, it's just another guy in your corner to answer questions, and he's been nothing but helpful. And so I'm very gracious for how he's handled the transition.
There you go. I love that. And at some point, that's the thing too. I think, everybody at some point there has to be that transition. It's just the way things are. And we were there with Jim last year, the championships and stuff. It was a lot of fun. But I love the new blood coming at Jason Howard the same way. And I think when I'm seeing this, and I've been in a couple of the meetings and just listening to everybody talk and chat and going through all that stuff, with the overall scope and where the direction of it's going. Everybody wants to see it continue to succeed, and I think that's the biggest thing. Everybody on the same page, have the same mindset, and that's key to it. It's no different than your baseball team, right?
Exactly. And another huge benefit of kind of some of that new blood is you're getting back to where you've got on-field coaches that are letting their voices be heard and getting to make the decisions. If you're not coaching it every day and you're just talking to people, you might never get the truth. People might not ever bring something up that's a problem. So having guys that are living it every day and running their programs, I think it's going to be very beneficial for the state in general.
One of the things that I wanted to ask you about, we were at the actual American Legion convention, state convention there in Jeff City with Tom and Russ. Talking to the Post, I know the guy. We met Frankie Adams. It was a lot of fun. Sykeston will have teams back this year. They had the trouble with the field. They had a tornado that went through there. Sykeston's going to be back, so I'm excited about that. Because they'd been around a long time working through, so I think that's cool. We got a chance to talk to a lot of different people. One of the things that I wonder about is the connection with the clubs and the Posts. Has it disconnected a little bit more than it should?
I don't know. I think a lot of people are doing a lot of good things with their posts, and then a lot of clubs are kind of hands off. Really, they use the post for their paperwork, and that's about it. So definitely growing that back in and growing a sense of community and getting those guys and gals from the post in and seeing what we're doing. It'd be beneficial for everybody, and it's something that hasn't been emphasized. And if we can put an emphasis on it, we can create positive change.
Absolutely, because I look around, and as we were talking to a lot of the post commanders and post folks there, they're all they all want to be part of it and they love the baseball piece, and it's tough. I think sometimes, on either side, it's like, well, what do we do? Well, how do we get involved? And on their side, it's, well, how do we get involved? And I think it's that communication level that has to come back, right?
100%, 100%. And I'm guilty of it myself. We haven't had a ton to do with the post in the last couple of years. The guy who kind of started our program was Bill Day. He passed away a couple of years back, I think 2 years ago now. And since he's passed, we've really had zero connection. And so that's something that us as a program, that's ideas we're stealing from the guys over on your side, and even Coach Morgan at Warrensburg, and just finding a way to get us involved with them and them involved with us. And so it's just something that we got to emphasize and do better.
Yeah. And I mean, I think it's tough because everybody goes, well, how much do we got to do? And everybody's like, oh, you know what? It's not a matter of that. It's just being, people having awareness, working, and, even if it's somebody coming out. I love the guard, the color guard, and things of that nature. And not to mention, I think it's especially interesting coming up with the centennial, right?
Right, right. It's a great time to get them involved and get in there and have something to celebrate, and bring that focus kind of back towards more than just the game. The character values you can get from all those men and women.
The history of things, the history of the post. We're starting to research and look into, and there's been some great stuff. I do have to give a shout out to Kid Getsy and Bill Battle for getting us some information. Well, I'm going to hit you up before we leave here tonight too. Just looking for history from programs. Where's it at? What is the information there? Because we're working to put some things together that I think will be cool for the Centennial Games. And our company, we produce Youth Baseball Midwest. We're looking at hosting some Centennial Games out at Warrenton. I've talked to you about that, and it's starting to come together. Talking to some programs, people are excited. I want to make this something that will be, memorable, and looking forward to it, because I think this, 100 years is a long time, bro.
Absolutely, absolutely. And we hope to get an invite for the Centennial Games, and we'd love to be a part of it.
Yeah, I may let you even pick who you want to play.
I don't want all that. I don't want all that. You just tell us who and where we'll, and then feel bad for whatever happens that happens.
We'll just show up and play baseball, right, baby?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Oh, man. I love that. Well, with that being said, talk to us a little bit about Sedalia. You guys coming off, I wouldn't say a down year, but you didn't get to the state championship. How's it looking coming back this year?
Well, we're fortunate to my first year. This is my fourth year as a head coach. Be the first year I have a big group moving up from the junior legion that's played together, and finally getting some kids from our home school. I forget what they call that. Our base school. Sorry, we're finally getting some kids from Smith Cotton, and look forward to getting a lot of new blood in there and seeing what we can do with them.
I love hearing that, because Smith Cotton has a good baseball program too.
Yes, sir. They just went on a run where they were young for a couple years at the varsity level, and a lot of the guys at the top ended up going to play, showcase ball in the city. And so I think last year we had 5 kids from the year before, and then the year before that we had maybe 5 or 6 come back. So just finally seeing some of that fruit of our labor of building a program show up will be fantastic. It's just started as freshmen and have played all the way up. So I'm looking forward to it. It'll be a new challenge because it's a pretty new group of kids, but it should be fun. I'm really excited for it.
And that's one of the things I love. I'm really interested about, especially with these Centennial games, is showcasing some of these kids as well. That's one of the things about Youth Baseball Midwest on that side, and is talking about these kids. Who are they? Where are they going? What are they doing? And that's something I want to make sure we continue to do on the Legion side. Is who are these kids? Where are they at? Because like I said, Smith Cotton's been a program to watch for quite some time that I've been covering. In the state, and especially in the middle of the state there with Moberly, Macon, um, Mexico, even they all had good seasons, and that's all that area right up around you there. There's some really good baseball being played in that central part of the state.
Yeah, it's phenomenal. I coach at Lincoln High School. It's Class 2 baseball, so um, we really good small school baseball around us, and then Smith Cotton gets grouped in there with Columbia and Jeff City schools. So it's not uncommon to have three of the top 10 teams in Class 5 or 6 in baseball in the same district every year. So it's a very competitive area for sure for baseball.
Absolutely. And we're working to get over there a little bit more. I'm hoping we live streamed from oh geez, isn't that terrible? Southern Boone, there it is, Southern Boone High School. Last year when they played Father Tolton. And so those are two of the top teams in that area there. So we're looking to do a little bit more of that in high school. We're coming back on that side. So I'm hoping that we can continue to grow that perspective even in high school baseball. And so, and then with Legion Baseball, we're hoping to get a little bit more. We're doing the Centennial games this year, so we're working on that, kind of a big deal. We're going to live stream, of course, the state championships again. Are they? Where they're going to be yet? Any inside scoop?
I think they're still down where they were last year. Then the park's changed names so many times. U.S. National or Ozark Mountain, I think is what it's called now.
Oh, no,
It's at the same venue.
No, not high school. I'm sorry. Not Misha State Championships. I know that. I'm talking
sorry.
American Legion. Yeah.
Yeah,
inside scoop yet?
We're hoping to get it back in Sedalia. The renovation should be done, and that's not official yet, so don't take my word for it. Take that with a grain of salt. But we're hoping to get it back in Sedalia. The community loves hosting it, and brings a lot of people in, and we can showcase our beautiful new stadium. They just fully turfed it. They did upgrades with the seating and brand new fence, so it's gonna be top notch. And so we hope to get that tournament back and to showcase that off and get to share our facilities with everybody.
We're going to be wherever it's being held. We're going to be live streaming there. We got the All-Star game again at Bush. That's coming up. That's always a fun one. And this year they're doing it a little different, correct?
Yeah, again, nothing's official on that, and I don't know what I can or can't share till it's done. But I think it'll be more similarly timed to the first year we did it rather than last year.
Very good. And then, of course, the Mid-South Regional, Washington, going to be at Washington at Ronsick Park. I've been talking with Kent a little bit, and we're talking about getting down a live streaming down there, that event. And there's some big-time stuff going on with Legion Baseball in the state of Missouri. What would you say to a kid right now that would come to you and say, "Hey, what?" And I think these are interesting conversations, right? The parents, the kid. What would you say to a kid who's trying to make that decision where to go play or where to play summer baseball?
Yeah, I mean, for me personally, it could be different around everybody else, but our biggest selling points are we're going to try to play 50, 60 games in the next 6 weeks. You're going to be playing meaningful games throughout the week. We'll play a tournament every weekend. You got an 18-man roster. You got 6 months to put it together, or not 6 months, 6 weeks to put it together. And it's the only summer baseball that you have that there's a true playoff format. and so you're playing for something bigger than yourself, and you get to come be a part of the team. Some of the big benefits are you could perform well and end up at Busch Stadium. That's a huge selling point. I mean, I know we use that quite often, but more than anything, it's just having the camaraderie of a team and pretty sound structure. And every coach I've ever met in Senior Legion, I would recommend any kid to go play for them. So got a lot of good people running the show, and I mean that's really our biggest thing.
What do you say to that incoming freshman that says, what are my opportunities for exposure and those types of things? What do you say to that kid?
Yeah, I mean, anymore we're trying to build it just like you can get the same exposure anywhere else, right? We've got the PBR Scout Day that we're doing now, and one of my big goals is to get one closer to home for us. Because it's kind of hard to ask a kid from Kansas City to get out of bed at 5 o'clock and get to St. Louis to go to a PBR day, right?
Yeah.
But we have the same exposure. Our social media is growing its own with you guys. We're getting a lot of games live streamed, and more than anything, it's not uncommon that we're playing the same tournaments as any other team. You're just going to pay a lot less to play for us, and so we're still going to the prospect tournaments, but we just have the midweek games as well and the Legion tournaments, and we see college scouts all the time at those games. So as far as if we're falling behind any other programs, I don't believe that we're at that point anymore.
There you go. I love that stuff. There you go. And I think those are real, and when you're talking to families, I think, it all truly comes down to, I think, the relationships you build as a coach. This, it is about the relationship. How do you want to build that? How do you help that? Is as a parent, you got to look at that and get to know that coach. Is this the guy I want to trust my kid with, right?
That's exactly right. And it's on every program to get good coaches in the building and good leaders of young men. A huge benefit we have in Sedalia, and it probably doesn't work everywhere because there's not as many high schools, but we've got coaches from 5 different high schools throughout our program. And so, we're in a lot of doors. We're making a lot of connections that you've had before. And then treat people, keep them around, so we're selling good things, because it's the cheapest form of marketing is just the word of mouth and people saying good things about you. So,
and it's still the best form of marketing. It really is. Yeah,
Yep.
exactly. So, Connor, man, hey, I appreciate you taking the time this evening away from your family and all that to sit down and chat with us, buddy. It's always a pleasure. I really enjoy talking with you, bud.
Yeah, I appreciate you having me on. I love being on. I feel guilty every time I can't, but I appreciate your understanding and still asking me back. So yeah, thanks for having me on.
I know it's tough because of school, but at some point I got to get you on. I want to get you on with some of our other guys, like some of our other contributors, with Kevin Mulder, talking some high school baseball and talking some of these things, and bring that Legion part of it into these conversations, because I think it would be a lot of fun.
Yeah, I'd love to. As far as high school baseball goes, if you ever need somebody to talk about the small schools, that's kind of what I understand more. I stay aware of the bigger schools going on. Stay pretty involved with the smaller school stuff. So yeah, I'd love to.
We definitely need that, especially in that central, because that's what it all is right through there. It's all pretty much small schools, and it took me about, I don't know, 3-4 months to really get a good grasp of all the conferences and where the schools are. Because, I mean, you got 400 some teams. And, when you start looking, and all of a sudden you say, oh, I saw that team in the state tournament. And it's this small school over here. And it's like Orrin down toward Cape Girardeau. I think they're a class 1 or 2 school, something like that. And they're always in the state championship, man.
Yeah, they've got some kind of secret sauce down there figured out. But that's one of my favorite parts about Legion baseball is, we take a bunch of these kids from these rural schools and they get to go play at a higher level than their high schools can provide, and we're playing the Washingtons, we're playing the Ellsberys, where these kids are from massive schools, and seeing how they compete and how they handle it, because they're never going to be prepared for the next level if they don't get to see that.
Absolutely. And when you played at Ellsbury last year, you're seeing high level upper 80s arms that, Avon Weaver is at UCM now. And then you got three of the other guys at top JUCOs in this area. It's legit. It's legit baseball, man.
Yeah, and that's that's one of my biggest selling points and favorite parts about what we're doing in Sedalia. We're giving kids the opportunity to see that and improve their game and kind of see how they stack up, because a lot of times Class 1, Class 2 teams don't have a kid that can throw it over 80. So, the majority of your games you're seeing 70, 75. So being able to give these kids an opportunity to go see, 8s to even low 9s sometimes, and some of those prospect stuff we get in, it's huge. It's a cool opportunity for these kids. So,
and we know that Sam Pauley, kid you're very familiar with, and from the state championships a couple of years ago, he's playing right in your backyard.
Yeah, we followed them closely. You look up and down the whole state fair roster. They're littered with Legion baseball kids, and it's cool to see those kids and how they progress and improve and where they end up going. We've got one of our own at state fair right now, and Josh Hagel, and he seems to be having a great time. And it's cool that he stayed close, and I get to go watch him play and still stay part of his journey. So. It's cool to have that in town, and it's great that they give us the time to come give our kids a chance.
I love that, because Sam Pauley and Josh Hagel were the two best players in that state championship that year, and I'd never seen Josh Hagel, and I mean I was blown away by that kid. Just his presence. That's one of those kids that just that's a baseball player.
Yes, sir. He's going to leave a giant hole in our pitching staff and our top of the lineup. I'm super proud of that kid and grateful to be a part of his playing career. He's a kid you'd take 18 of. So,
heck yeah. So, hey, thanks again, buddy. Appreciate it, folks. Remember, if you want to learn more about Missouri American Legion Baseball, all you have to do is add a .org onto the end of that sentence. Missouri American Legion Baseball. .org. Go there, check it out. All the information is there. Contacts. We have Connor's information is up on there. The state chairman. Everything is right there for you to go find out what American Legion Baseball is all about in the state of Missouri. So if you want to do that, please do. If you like watching more Legion Baseball talk, please hit the subscribe button. We're here every Friday, 3 p.m. Central Standard Time. Legion Baseball Talk. We got some great stuff for you. Send us some comments. Tell us what you want to hear. Is there something you want to know about? Please let us know. We'll get the subject matter up, man. We'll talk about it. So thank you very much, everybody, for tuning in. We do appreciate it. Everybody, have a great day in the Lord. All you pitchers, keep throwing strikes, and hitters, give them some advice. Give the hitters some advice. Oh, I'm sorry. Connor, give the hitters some advice.
Oh, I'm sorry. I couldn't see. I got my own picture. Swinging strikes, hit the ball hard. There we go. Roll Travs.
We'll see y'all next time.